All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into another fucking stream. If you guys are new here in the morning, we come in, we take a look at NQ price action, see what's going on, we see what price is doing, see what it did the night before, and then we outline inside Discord. Sorry, I'm gonna take some shorts here. This is just for funsies, right? This is literally a fucking paper account. You're watching me just because I want to see my idea play out, and I'm done trading with a regular account. So there's this, right? I'm gonna confirm this. I'm gonna TP this. Maybe a daily open, or there you go. Maybe if they want to outside this full hour, that'd be cool. Anyways, in the morning we come in, we take a look at NQ price action. We see what happened during the overnight session. See what price can do going to that New York session, and then from there we come back at night, we review, we see what actually happened. This outline is also posted inside the Discord daily. This morning we did a little bit of an outline, and I also posted it on Twitter because I did not have the ability to stream, but this is the outline that we worked with this morning. This is something that we posted, so we said, okay, so we have Asia session kind of consolidation, right? London session manipulation, so there is potential for the price to sweep below and then continue back to the upside. We were watching, we said this multiple times before on stream, and we said this also inside the Discord, that okay, the level that we were watching is going to be this previous weekly low, right? It's important because we just placed the Sunday open. We're below the 1550 EMA, and that is kind of that next big liquidity that is sitting right there below. So price came down, captured that, and then we saw a nice little reversal back to the upside from it, or currently did see over here, right? But initially, as price was coming into that New York open, we saw initial retrace into a little bit of liquidity here on the upside, right? Tap of this and tap and sweep of this liquidity, right? 935. Next candle goes down. Next 15-minute opens up. We're tapping into this fair value gap, continuing to the upside a little bit here. Given that we did sweep this liquidity, we're also rejecting the OTE of this London session right there. I'll show you guys and see, right? Rejection of that 786 of the London session OTE perfectly. Given that rejection, right? Now we're looking, okay, price is most likely to continue to the upside here. So that's what we look at next, okay? So we have our 15-minute closing down a little bit here. There's our 15-minute closing down with a wick. Next 15-minute opening up, retracing into the OTE of this next leg that we had to the downside here. Rejection of the 786, and then continuation to the downside into that previous weekly low. After price has swept that, right? What are we working with here? Given that price swept that, there's potential for that London session high here, right? Initial also overnight shorts here, if you guys were trading with us last night. Overnight shorts, but here, this is the outline that I really wanted you guys to, right? This kind of the sweep that we outlined this morning. We said, okay, well, if we come down, we want to sweep this previous weekly low and then continue from there. Maybe retrace a little bit and then continuation. This is where it came down, right? We had price retrace back into the OTE here. Tap of that 618 after the sweep of that previous weekly low displacement. So we have a fair value gap. Fair value gap combined with this OTE, right? As well as body still holding that previous weekly low sweep. And we get that continuation to the upside. There's our target getting hit and our position getting filled there, right? So that was... that's what we had for Tuesday for today's price action. For right now, given that we did sweep that previous weekly high overnight, we already traded, so we're kind of fucking off. We're kind of fucking around with some paper right now. Here we had this inverse fair value gap. Price taps into it. We get that reversal back to the downside. On the 15-minute, we have this nice little, volume imbalance, right? On the 15-minute. So that is something that I typically do like to watch, or sorry, on the 5-minute. Typically, price does love to come back to those little PD arrays, even that little slightest little volume balance, right? It is inside the range OTE here. If you want, right there, right? Right on that 705. There you go. Also, I actually want to show this to Jimmy. I don't know if where Jimmy is or if Jimmy is watching, but Also, Jimmy. Right, so tap of this OTE here. Sweep of that volume balance gives us that continuation to the upside. We're also sweeping this the way this hourly closed, and I believe we tapped the 50% of this hourly here. So if we look, any kind of wick typically gives us 50%, right? Any 50% of the wick will give you a nice little bounce. So here it was lined up with this previous 4-hour low, so they gave us a solid, nice continuation here. And right now we're about to get stopped out. It's out of there. Right, we're just testing out ideas here. This was, I was just playing this rejection again, seeing if price could actually continue to the downside. But on that higher time frame, this actually 4-hour. So 4-hour, given that we swept this previous weekly low, now we need back above that Sunday open. So if we can get back through that Sunday open, we can potentially look at the 50% of that previous weekly range, which is sitting at, I'll tell you, wrong fucking tool. 29,626. 29,626 previous weekly mid. 29,626 previous weekly mid. Can get through the Sunday open. So, right, top of that wick, continuation. So here we're looking for that 25.66 level. If price can get back through that Sunday opening. If we cannot, then we're going to look for this 4-hour falling 3. So if this 4-hour continues to stay within this range, that next 4-hour candle could give us a little something like this, right, to the downside. So that is something to watch here, something to monitor, right, like this and like that. That's the 4-hour outline. Just as a little something. Just as a little something there, right? I like the way this 15 minutes closing up. Previous hourly has not been swept yet. We're just kind of basing here on this 4-hour. Actually, no, previous hourly has been swept. So there may be a potential for an outside hour here if they really wanted to crank it to the downside here. But we did sweep some nice liquidities. Let me get rid of this shit. We're holding this level. That's what I'm watching into tomorrow. Tomorrow, in terms of news, we got FOMC member Barr speaks at 7:15 a.m. 8:30. This is not Eastern. 10:30 Eastern. Crude oil inventory. So 9:15 FOMC. Barr speaks 15 minutes before market opens up. An hour into market open, we get crude oil inventories and then FOMC meeting minutes. And I believe this will be probably the first minutes without our boy Jay Powell. So on that note, that will probably do it. We got a little bit of the price action here described, right? Maybe let's back test because I still need to do that. So here, this is the retest of that OTE. I want to notate that as Wednesday journal. Wednesday journal. Harnell. Right, there we go. We swept all of these guys. These can get moved over here. Boop. That's our overnight there. And we just swept this liquidity, right? This is the liquidity that I was kind of working around. So right now, let's see if they give us a little gushy to the downseas. Back below previous daily. Here, this bounce on the volume inbounds, super solid. Fuel liquidity is on the downside, right? Previous daily lowest potential target if we sweep that and want to continue back above it. There's potential. Right now, it seems like they're just kind of alarring it for another leg to the fucking upside. In terms of the 12-hour, like we said, as long as we remain below that 29,448, and there's that 28,730, 25 pounds. Look at that. That's pretty tight. 28,730, 25. That's our other 12-hour level. That was a good bounce there. God damn. I got that pretty good. Okay. A 12-hour, hope everybody understands what we look for, right? Any area of big consolidation, anything where price has potentially bounced. So like this level right here on the far, you can see we kind of had that head and shoulder to the downside. So now we're watching this 12-hour as we had some bounce, some rejections here. Daily wise, and Q got a little fair value gap going at, once again, 29.44825. So maybe if they really wanted to, they could come back over here, maybe continuation back to the downside, something like that, something along those lines. If they really wanted to, you know, make it, maybe trap people or whatever. Stonks wise, I got nothing. Crypto. Crypto getting fucking ate up too. So no crypto, none of that. Let's do a little back testing, and then we'll be free for tonight. For back testing, what I usually do, I like to look at the models that I usually trade. So I'm looking at price as if I was actually trading, right? So inside of here, what is this, April? Right here, we're looking at Asia session. We're looking at London session over here. So inside of Asia session, we have this nice little displacement. We have a fair value gap here on the downside. We're going to continue looking. Okay, price looks like cool. We're sweeping this, right? Over here, we're swept this liquidity. Now price kind of weakened below it. Then we get that nice continuation back above it. We get through this high, so we're making higher highs now. Price displaces through it, retested on this 5-minute candle. That's your entry target. You can target that previous daily high. You can target whatever you want, right? For target previous daily high, let the rest run and do its thing. So that's one thing that I'm looking at, right? Then going into New York session, I'm looking at 9:30 open, how price is opening up, and then looking at anything to the left side here, and then where price could actually go. So on the left side, you can see here we swept that previous daily high. We don't have previous daily 50 within the range here. So here we are. I am looking at this liquidity specifically, right? Given that we had this range right here, price is rejecting this range OTE during that London session, right? That 705 right there, that rejection. Okay, from here, I'm kind of getting the idea that, okay, but price could potentially continue to the downside. We have our first little displacement here, this little fair value gap, price rejecting it there. We have our next fair value gap right here. Price is coming back to reject. So at 9:30, what are we watching? We're watching price come back up over here, tap into this fair value gap, and then reverse to the downside. Where is our liquidity? We can target this. We can target the London session low, and we can also target this low right there of that overnight session. Once that sweeps, cool. That's it. We're done there, right? Everything else over here on this day is just kind of dog shit. Next, we're going into Tuesday here. So Tuesday, similar thing, watching right there. We go. We opened up right there at 1800. Price continued or just like pumped to the upside. What do we have on the left here? We have this liquidity right there. So price comes in, sweeps this liquidity. No displacement through. We actually get a reversal back to the downside. We are now below this sweep right there, right? So we have a displacement. We have a break of structure now to the downside. We have a fair value gap right here as well, right? There's our Asia session fair value gap. We tap into it once, come back, tap into it twice, continue to the downside. We have these targets right there to reach for. Boom, we reach these targets over here. We can see a clear displacement through them right during that London session. Displacement, price comes back, retests it, can't break through it. Continuation to the downside. What do we got on the left side here? We got a few targets that we're working with, right? We got this guy right there. We have this guy right here. And that is pretty good, right? So at 9:30 opening, what do we got going on here? We have our London session range, which typically we want to highlight. London session range right there. Okay, what do we have on the left? We have this range right there. Okay, cool. That lines up with that 618. At 9:30, price dips to the downside here inside this range OTE, right? We dip inside of this range OTE. Tap the 705 plus the fair value gap right here. Right? tap that plus the fair value gap gives us that nice run to the upside. Right at 9:45, new 15-minute candle sweeps the top, gives us that reversal back to the downside. Here you can even take this as well, right, for more area of confluence for shorts. You can wait for this to retrace back into the OTE of that leg, continuation to the down, sweeping that fine liquidity. Boom, you're fucking off, right? That's the next hourly opening up. So we tap the closing price of that previous hourly candle and then continue to the downside here. Oh shit, that's pretty good. Maybe we can take off half there. Right, there you go. All right, there's our previous hourly sweep. Now we're kind of pushing it to this downside over here. Let's take off 10 more right there. I'll take 10. We'll buy 10 over here at that hourly bottom. So there's our outside hour, right? Nice little top right there. Rejection of the same liquidity. Got a little M pattern going to the downside here. Next day here, let's take a look, and this is going to be the last day. So going into that New York session, we got this Asia session consolidation, London session sweeping the top, sweeping the bottom. So there is potential for an S&D day going into that New York session. So going to New York session, we are watching liquidity is on the downside, right? What do we got? We got this little guy. We got this little guy right here. Boom, we sweep this guy. Look at the way the bodies are holding, right? Right at 9:30, we have rising VIX. Bodies are holding right there. Next candle opens up at 9:35, sweeping the previous 5-minute low. We're also displacing, or price is closing inside the body of that candle, which does give us that potential for reversal. We can outline this range here on the 1 minute. We retrace back, tap into the 0.5 of the range OTE here. That's enough for us because I'm sure on the 1 minute we have a fair value gap there. Displacement, continuation to the upside, and there's your target of that London session high getting hit, right? This is the whole idea of an S&D day. And that's all I got for you guys today. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. You guys are best. Make sure to check us out at www.papertraders.io. That's the best way to see what we're all about, the things that we offer, anything of that nature. Come hang out with us. Come chill. What else do I got? Make sure you check us out on Twitter at the Paper Traders. Already talked about the website. Go check out Mr. Hayes at Hayes the Beats. That's the best way. Get him to 3,000 followers. We're gonna do a lifetime membership giveaway for the Paper Traders. 2,000 followers for 2,000 followers for me. God dang. And we're gonna do a. I'm gonna do a tracksuit reveal. You guys are gonna see my tracksuit in all its glory. And Ismail, if my guy is watching right now, I'll do a toe reveal too, because that guy's fucking obsessed with that shit for some reason. Other than that, that's all I have. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I love you, like I said, and I'll be here tomorrow morning. Let's come in. Let's hang out. Let's do some shit. We'll see ya. Peace out.